kind of disappointing season overall. Speaking of disappointing, moving on to Ahsoka. Um,
Sure. Talk about a fucking transition. That's yeah.
uh, Ahsoka, my favorite Star Wars character. Um, it had two episode premiere. Um, in episodes 1 and 2, valuable prisoner escapes the New Republic custody, and a search for answers reunites two old friends. And in the second episode, Ahsoka and Hera travel to a New Republic shipyard and make an unexpected discovery. It premiered on Tuesday, August 22nd, at 9 p.m. EST. I love it because so did Loki, and I love that the shows are now airing at an appropriate time where like it isn't like 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so it's like 3 a.m. on the East Coast, so I don't watch it until the morning. It's nice to be able to watch these shows at a reasonable time. I don't understand why they weren't doing this before. I think it was because they were trying to be different than like a regular TV, but like just do it like regular TV does it, so that we can actually watch it at an appropriate time. Like what was it? The Last of Us also released like Sundays at like 9, so like yeah, do that. That's fine. Um, I like the first two episodes. I feel like the first few episodes were setting me up for something good, and then I was disappointed. The music is composed by Kevin Kiner, who also worked on Rebels, and the music's real good. I like the music in the show. Um, the main focus of the show overall is essentially them searching for Thrawn and trying to prevent him from coming back and bringing structure to the scattered remnants of the Empire. And we see the seeds sown for that in Mandalorian season 3. And more like interpersonal focus of the show is Ahsoka training Sabine as her Padawan, despite never showing any force sensitivity. And
That
that, hold on, wait, hold
was
on, give me a second. And that had me excited because I really wanted to see the force explored beyond telekinesis. And the main villain being a Night Sister made me think that would be the case, or one of the main villains. Because the force has always been said to exist within everyone, but some are more sensitive to it than others. So seeing someone who isn't attuned to it learn how to use it in their own way would have been fascinating. But as we'll get to, it didn't quite happen how I hoped. But go ahead, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say Sabine suddenly being force sensitive enough to become a Jedi was incredibly ridiculous to me.
Yes, I
There
agree.
are characters with force sensitivity that aren't Jedi. Like Han Solo is
Exactly,
heavily hinted at that
exactly.
he's force sensitive.
That's what I wanted.
Hera heavily hinted at that she's force sensitive. So I'm like, okay,
That's exactly what I was going to talk about. I wanted her to be force sensitive in the way that the Jedi are when they're flying ships, where they can
yeah,
they basically have like a spider sense. I wanted her to do that, and
yeah.
basically it makes her a better fighter and a better pilot, which she's already good at both of those. But being able to essentially have this sixth sense would have made her even
To be
better.
able to become a Jedi when we've never, and we even see her train with it. There's literally an entire arc
Was she?
in Rebels about her training with a Jedi.
Yeah,
She still had no sign of force sensitivity to all of a sudden now she's
yeah.
been being trained by Ahsoka for the past five
I
years.
feel
Like
like
what?
this was
What?
the perfect opportunity to explore the Force in a very different way, but then they ended up just falling back on the tried and true telekinesis, which
It was
very boring.
so not. Oh my god, Ahsoka was so disappointing
Yeah,
for so many reasons, and
I
it just started there. It wasn't even.
this is another thing in the conversation of should have been animated. um, I feel like if this was a proper like either an Ahsoka show but animated or like was it Rebel season 5, then I feel
I
like
would say if
maybe
this was a proper Rebels continuation. That would have been.
yeah. I feel like I also think things would have been different if this was animated because as unfortunate as it is, just the industry treats animation different from live action. I feel like the story would not have been the same if it was animated. And yeah, I don't know. I just this is strange. What is it? The next episode, we get a lot more like New Republic politics in this show. And how they're just kind of just. I feel like that one dude who kept like complaining felt like he was supposed to. It felt like they were setting him up to be like a traitor, but I don't think that was the case because I felt like they're being weirdly negligent and it's not unrealistic. It's a thing that happens in real life. Like I like that part of the story. That this is how, I mean, this is how the, this is how the rebels won. This is how the rebels won the war and ended up creating a new republic. Was because the empire became complacent, and now they're making the same mistake. So I do think that's interesting, and that's an interesting take on how the First Order comes about. What do you think about that? Kind of the more political aspect of the show.
Um, I'm gonna sound like a broken record here, but I feel like Legends did it better because that was kind of the entire post Return of the Jedi thing was a lot of political, at least when like not force, we're not talking about like force stuff. It was very political. Um, you had the Imperial remnants still around, out and about, even after Thrawn's death in Heir to the Empire. Um, you still see Imperial remnants coming around to the point that eventually the New Republic compromises and winds up folding the Imperial remnants, like the remaining Imperial remnants, into the New Republic,
Mm-hmm.
which was a very interesting thing and a very interesting concept. And
Which
the New Republic
is
winds up having Star Destroyers and
also,
stuff, which is really cool.
yeah, also basically what they're doing in canon.
I feel like it's what they're gonna wind up doing. I don't feel like they're there yet because right now the Imperial remnant is still very much so either the two opinions are either they don't exist or they're 100% the enemy. So I feel like I don't know. I feel like that's the direction they're gonna head eventually. I don't feel like they're quite there yet, but
I mean, there's also
I don't
the
know. I still feel like Ahsoka all around was just uh what could have been.
yeah. Was it a lot of people thought Baroque was gonna be Starkiller, and then he was just unceremoniously killed and turned out to be a nice sister zombie.
I didn't see anybody saying he was gonna be Starkiller. I did see people saying that they thought he was gonna be Ezra,
Yeah, people did say that as well.
and then he just died, and I was like, well, there
Yeah,
goes that theory.
I thought he was gonna be something more interesting, but no, he's just a zombie. um,
Honestly, I feel very conflicted about that because I don't feel like everything always needs to be something else, and I'm glad that this wasn't something else. But at the same time, I feel like it would have been more interesting if he was actually something else.
yeah, I agree. I think he should have been something, at least something. It didn't need to be anything particularly special. Um, the fight between Balin and Ahsoka in Episode 4 was good to me in comparison to a lot of the fights in the show, which I think aren't great. I think there were two good fights in the show: the one against Balin and the one against the nicest lady whose name I can't remember at the moment. Um, it was very much like a knight versus a samurai type fight, and that made me really like it. Rest in peace, Ray Stevenson. He was one of the best parts of the show as Balin Skull.
Oh,
Um,
he was easily the best part of the
yeah.
show.
Now, me and you had a little conversation about this privately, but episode 5, Ahsoka confronts her past while Hera and her allies undertake a rescue mission. Episode 5 was some of the best Star Wars content I've ever seen in my life, and I know you disagree. And yeah, it's nostalgia,
Heavily.
but god damn it, was it some good nostalgia? I've been, I mean, I feel like still to an extent I'm a little iffy on Rosario Dawson as a Ahsoka in live action, but I feel like the end of this episode made me realize that she can play Ahsoka as she usually is in Rebels and Clone Wars, because I feel like after this kind of revelation she has in this in the world between worlds, she starts to become a bit lighter. I feel like because it's a different actress playing her, and it's also been years, in between the last time we saw her in animation in this, and a lot of stuff has just happened in her life, and she's a lot more, you know, sad. That the way she plays Ahsoka just feels so different. But I feel like at the end of the episode, there was a glimpse of the Ahsoka that I'm used to, and I'm like, okay, she can do it. She can do that. She can play that Ahsoka. It was just a matter of her kind of getting back to that point, the character itself getting back to the point of being the old Ahsoka, which was interesting. Yeah. So go on. Let's talk about why you didn't like this episode.
It was literally nothing happened. It was nostalgia bait the episode. That's all it
Yeah,
was.
and
Everything that the episode
I
accomplished
think
could
that's
have been
ridiculous.
done
I think it's
so
ridiculous
much
that you're just like,
better
it's
and
not a
so
good
much more
episode.
skillfully if it was not done simply for nostalgia reasons. Like that would have been 1,000 times better if it wasn't just like, oh, here's a Clone Wars flashback that serves like absolutely no purpose. Here's Anakin turning evil that serves absolutely no purpose. Like it's
It
that
does serve a purpose,
it
though.
literally did not need to happen.
It does serve a purpose.
It does not serve a purpose.
It does. It was teaching. He was her master, and now she's a master. and he was teaching her what she needs to do to be a good master. That was the whole point.
And you're telling me that she couldn't have figured this out for herself without having a very
Well, this is why
nostalgia bait flashback of
it's called
the
interesting
Clone Wars?
storytelling, Amir. It's called making
That's
the
not
process.
interesting. That's lazy storytelling.
It's called making the
That is
process.
lazy,
Let,
ham-fisted storytelling done simply so that it can get nostalgia points because the show already was not winning over fans.
it's called making the process of a character having a revelation interesting. Okay,
That's so uninteresting.
it
Especially after watching Rebels, where so much storytelling was done implicitly rather than like externally, especially towards the later seasons of the show, versus just having a ham-fisted, straight up, oh, I guess we're gonna have a Clone Wars flashback now. Oh, Anakin was Vader, so now we gotta make him have a red lightsaber. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, no, that was lazy.
I feel like you just refuse to enjoy the nostalgia. It's just let it take
It's not
over.
I refuse to enjoy the nostalgia. It's that it was lazily done. Had there been a flashback in the first episode, like maybe Ahsoka has like a dream, that could have been like a similar dream sequence, and Ahsoka wakes up, and then boom, you have established that she has internal conflict about what's going on, instead of having like way too long exposition that kind of doesn't make sense about how she has or how she's like conflicted as a master for Sabine. You could have just had that been done in a dream sequence in like the first episode. That would have been a lot.
You got so heated, audio your audio cut out. I don't know if you can hear me. Hold on. Yeah, agree to disagree. But what is it? Ariana Grande played young Ahsoka in this flashback. She also played Sasha and Barbie, and she was also a young Gamora in Avengers: Infinity War. Because I saw her face and I was like, why do I know this person? And it was because I had saw Barbie not too long ago before that, I believe. And then she was also young Gamora. So yeah, it was interesting. I liked the episode. Um, yeah, it was nostalgia. I like nostalgia. I don't know what to tell you. And then we get to the other galaxy, where they, I think, I'm trying to think how to talk about this. The process of her getting there was interesting. Of her going inside of the Purgle's mouth and then having it take her there. Um, but yeah, how you feel about the actor that plays Ezra? I think he's great.
Oh, I think he was the best part.
Yeah,
I
he was great.
It's so
They
funny because I got so much of what's his face Finn Jones's Iron Fist. Like he had a lot of the same mannerisms, and it was just funny because I'm like, this makes sense for Ezra more than it ever made sense for Finn Jones's Iron Fist. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, he's played by Aman Esfandi, who also sounds very much like Taylor Gray, which is just great casting overall. Just he looks like him. He he sounds like him. Well, he looks like the character. He sounds like Taylor Gray. So just great casting. Um, yeah, seeing Ezra again is just great. It's great that Ezra's back. I like Ezra. Ezra's cool, man. Give him back his lightsaber with a blaster. God damn it! I was so mad when they took that away. They gave him such a unique lightsaber, and then why'd they take it away? Was a reason ever given for that, like by the creators? Do you know why that happened?
Um, I'm I haven't seen season one in a minute, but didn't it like fall down the like shaft or whatever they were fighting Grand Inquisitor in?
If he made it once, he can make it again. That's a poor excuse. I feel like I don't know. I gotta talk to somebody. There has to be a reason for that. Like, why did they do that? But anyway, episode 7 was hella boring. For a penultimate episode, it sucked. Like nothing happened. I guess they got reunited. Cool. Honestly, when Ahsoka, Sabine, and Ezra saw each other again, it wasn't even that interesting of a scene. Overall, disappointing show. Like I can't tell you how done I was with the show after that episode. I was just like, oh, this episode was boring. What is this finale going to be like? Um, and this is what happened. This is the episode when Sabine. Did she use it to grab a lightsaber? The Force.
What'd you say?
When she uses the Force, did she? Was it when she pushed him, or was it like when she used the lightsaber or something? I can't remember when she used the Force.
When she pushed him.
Okay, was that the first time she used it in that episode?
I don't remember.
I can't remember
I
either.
saw the episode once. I didn't watch it again.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what happened. Um, it was weird either way. She shouldn't be using the Force. I know that sounds weird, but like, It was a very boring way to go about it. But we talked about that early on. This Morgan Elsbeth is the name of the character that I keep forgetting. Had one of the best lightsaber fights in the show, because that actress is just a stunt. She's a martial artist and a stunt performer, and she was really the one making that action scene so good. I feel like Rosario Dawson. I'm sorry, but like have somebody else do the stunts for you. You're not cutting it.
The choreography for Ahsoka as a fighter in live action does not work for me at
It
all
doesn't.
because you have one of the most acrobatic and agile fighters in animation, and then in live action she does very little movement at
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
and
I need
oh
the lady who did the mocap for her in the season 7 of the Clone Wars and her fight against Maul. Get that lady to come in and do uh the stunts for Ahsoka. I need that lady.
yeah
She did an amazing job being like just physically being Ahsoka as she fights. Like, yeah, they make Ahsoka's fight so boring. Everybody around her is just so much. The people around her fight more acrobatically than she does. Balin
yeah,
Skull,
and it's
that big man,
ridiculous.
was low key more acrobatic there.
It's ridiculous because it's like she's literally like the most acrobatic fighter we see maybe since Yoda, like with the way that she flips and like spins around the battlefield, and then
I don't
she
know.
stands perfectly still and moves her arms in Ahsoka, and I'm like, why?
I know you didn't mean that as a joke, but that's hilarious.
I mean, it's true though. Like it's just genuinely true.
It is true, but it's so funny that Yoda is like the height of acrobats in Star Wars.
I mean, all he does is like spin. He's like a acrobatic blade, like Beyblade with a lightsaber.
He is Beyblade with a lightsaber. Yeah, this ending was extremely unsatisfying. I feel like endings have to like either leave me satisfied or like wanting answers to questions. And this didn't really do either. It just made me go, okay, all right, this was a thing. Um,
It made me leave. It made me want answers to questions, but it did not leave me satisfied whatsoever.
I guess I am interested in whatever Balin Skull is looking for. You can finish your theory that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure he's looking for Abeloth, or like he's feeling Abeloth, and Abeloth is pulling him closer. Um, and I feel like Abeloth is going to be. I'm not so sure about Thrawn, but I feel like Abeloth's probably going to be the big threat of the final movie.
What is Abeloth?
Abeloth is the. It's hard to explain. If the Force had a devil, it would probably be Abeloth.
Jesus.
He is a Force deity. She was a human caretaker for the son and the daughter, the Mortis gods. Um,
So is this
and she
basically
loved them like
kind of like the mother equivalent?
kind of, yes. But she starts off as a human and then she eventually becomes she like drinks from some kind of like well of power, like well of force power that she knows she's not supposed to, kind of like the apple of Eden. Um, and she's able to subdue the son and the daughter because they're always fighting. And she winds up becoming like this absolute well of force power, of like dark force power. And the father and the son and the daughter wind up banishing her to this space station surrounded by black holes so that she can never escape. Um, and she like goes insane there. And Luke winds up finding her in the new Jedi Order series in the I think like towards the end of the Yuzhong Long War. Um, so yeah, very interesting. I really like Abeloth as a villain. Again, like basically for Satan.
It's for Satan.
Um, and she's also like super scary to look at. Like they're like the pictures of her online are really creepy.
What's the name?
Very Cthulhu-esque, or not Cthulhu-esque, but like Lovecraft-esque monster. Really cool.
Oh, kind of looks like the main villain from. You ever watch oh dang, what is it called? Something silent, silent something. Dead Silence.
No, I've never seen it.
Okay, it's a horror movie with a very. It used to scare me when I was a kid. It has a nursery rhyme that goes, "Beware the stare of Mary Shaw. She has no children, only dolls. And if she ever hears you scream, she'll rip your tongue out on the scene or something like that." It's very. They used to scare me. She kind of looks like the Mary Shaw, the main like monster in that. Um, yeah, that's all I really got for Ahsoka.